Good evening, my name is Garrett, and welcome to The Last Call. On tonight's Versus, we have Old Forester Birthday Bourbon coming in at a 48% ABV, at least 11 years old, versus Old Forester 1924 coming in at a 50% ABV, at least 10 years old. So I've been doing a lot of comparisons with 1924 and other 10-year age statement bourbons. And I finally was like, well, let's do the Old Forester Birthday Bourbon. Yes, it's a year older, so I'm curious on that, but the proof points are very similar as well. And obviously both of these, we're not going to really be doing a big comparison on price points because the secondary markets are just running with them. But I was lucky enough to pick this up from a bourbon lottery from Total Wine. So, I thought, what better way if you happen to see one of these laying on the shelf next to a 1924, which one would you grab? So we're going to be talking about color, notes, taste, wrap it up in the market price section, and maybe pick a winner. So let's get into it. So as always, oh my gosh, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, hang around for a bit, become a member if you'd like. If you're interested in individual reviews over either of these bottles, they'll be linked up above and down below. You can also check out the other comparison bottles I've done as well. So far, I've done the Russell's Reserve, Eagle Rare, and is that it? I think that was it so far. But being that they're both, again, 10-year-old whiskeys, I thought, what better ones to compare to? So, definitely very similar in color. If anything, it might be perception, but the Birthday Bourbon might be a hair darker. Just a little bit, but I don't think I could have told you if you'd mix them up on which one on color. They're very, very close. So let's start on notes for the Old Forester Birthday Bourbon. That's a good solid nose. You get a lot of classics on these, and that's kind of a hard thing to always talk about because you do get the oak, the vanilla, the caramel. This one's got a lot more spice when it comes to wood sugars for me, the barrel spiciness in there. There is a little bit of fruit sweetness in here, like a tart green apple. A little oiliness as well. There is a little bit of ethanol in the nose. Not terrible, but it's there. But for me, definitely, this is a well-rounded bourbon. But the corn sweetness has been very mellowed out here. It's not super oaky or very strong in kind of the notes that I tend to find over here on the 1924. But for me, the green apple tartness is what really makes this one set just slightly different. So let's go for notes on the 1924. Wow, those are actually very similar on the nose. The same thing I've been finding on the 1924 during my whole journey on this bottle. It's got more berries going on in here, getting kind of a blueberry, blackberry, raspberry kind of mix going on. And it's a little oilier. It's got just a little bit more of like the oak tannins going on. That's a good nose. Little corn sweetness in there. But for me, the oily factor is what's really elevating this one up quite a bit. I like oakier bourbons. I also like fruitier bourbons. So for me, that really hits home. You don't really get the ethanol punch from it or anything super strong on that, but that is a great nose. I just, again, love that little bit of spice in there. You get that kind of a little pinch of rye going on, but the oily factor really hits this one home on the 1924. All right, let's go for taste on the Birthday Bourbon. It's got just a nice, beautiful rye spice going on here, just lightly. Enough that it brings across a tea note. And I'm a huge fan of those tea notes. At least that's what I'm hitting on today. A little sweet factor going on in here as well. Again, that green tart apple, like a Granny Smith apple, just freshly sliced. The corn notes are showing up. A little bit of that corn dustiness is in there. The oak, the vanilla. I'm getting almost like a homemade caramel mixed in there with that charriness as well. Very, very solid sip. The linger on the palate is sweet. It's inviting. This is a birthday bourbon. Like, this is something that you want to sip on your birthday just because it is an easy laid back option. Honestly, I think it sips right at that ABV point. Not too hot, not too watery. It's just got a great palate to it. Clings decently. It doesn't have quite the cling as a higher ABV product, but the cherry layers do linger a little bit for me, and I love that. All right, let's go for taste on the 1924. Yet again, for me, man, that cling on that 1924. It's oily, and it's got this fruit layer that really grabs a hold of you. That tea note does show up for me a little bit right now as well. I like oakier bourbons. When I hear double oaked, I want to taste that double oakiness. I like Texas whiskey as well, so that's probably a problem for me. But the oily factor, the cling this one brings across is beautiful. The oaks, the vanillas, the caramels, the wood sugar showing up. It is to a T just what you want in a great age statement on a bourbon. That is good. This is really close. Wow. Again, for me, I just love that oiliness. The corn notes are really doing the talking here because this is an all-new mash bill for Old Forester as well. And I just really got to hit it home. Get a little bit of that caramel brulee effect with like a blowtorch, kind of charriness in there with a vanilla cream. That is good. Let's go back to the birthday bourbon here. Man, that is a good sip too. It definitely doesn't have the oaky level that the 1924 has. And that might be a plain factor of the mash bill they're using on this one. Maybe there's something a little bit different to it. This is definitely a lot more of an easy sipper and not quite as in your face with that oakiness. But for me, I just really love that profile. All right, let's talk about market price, because we all know market price is market price, and it's definitely going to vary on these ones. So I ended up paying about I think it was $110 for this, and I ended up paying $150 for this one. Now, to be honest, those are perfect world pricing on these, and we got to think about secondary. So this goes, up to $200-$300. This can go over $500 to $1,000 easy. So let's throw market price just out the window. Let's talk about what the actual flavors bring. In a perfect world, this is a great sip. I really love this one. But for me personally, the 1924 just has that little bit oakier cling that I really truly love. Again, for me, I like oaky, I like fruity, and this does both beautifully to it. Being that this one is just a year older and 2% less in ABV, I'm really surprised on how easy this one is to sip on. It's very laid back, really friendly, but still has a lot of good complexity going on that you could sit down and just kind of really enjoy. This one is demanding attention a little bit more. In perfect world pricing, if this was $150 and this is $110, or even its SRP at $100, I think it's $115, $120. For me, I'm still going to land on the 1924. But this is a close second. That's a hard one to argue with. But being that hopefully at some point in time, this will be one that we can actually find on the shelves easily as time goes on. This is one I would recommend picking up. Again, I will say that I wish it was closer to that $100 price point, or even like $95 if I really want to split hairs. But both are really good, but I'm definitely going to have to give it to the 1924 yet again as the winner. So yeah, there you have it, folks. Old Forester Birthday Bourbon 11 years versus the Old Forester 1924 10-year bourbon. If you have questions on either bottle, let me know down in the comment section below. I will do my best to answer it. And if you have any bottles I should put up against each other, also let me know down below. I love doing these kind of A/B comparisons. Helps me learn, and hopefully helps you learn and maybe save yourself $1. And as always, may your last drink of the night be the best one.
I even like it might not.